So I told her testimony from children must be viewed extremely skeptically. I'm sure you and your friend experienced something that frightened you. However, the claim that you saw a ghost is unsubstantiated, and you have no grounds that I can see to assert such a conclusion. I told her UFO abduction stories and Bigfoot encounters are also provided by people in groups. But I think there's a lot of people who would say that it's still not valid.
Yeah.
I said, if you truly were saying, quote, I'm not sure what I saw and what the cause of the experience was, unquote, that would be honest. The moment you say you saw a ghost, unless you verified it, you're not being honest. You're adding something to the story that is unsubstantiated and unjustified by the experience you describe. So, you know, they saw something that frightened them. There are many strange claims that are made by groups. It's not proof of what they saw, it's proof of what they believed they saw. In her response to me, she says, I have no idea what it was. And she did admit that perhaps it was wrong to label it a ghost. She says, do you know, over the years I've pondered endlessly over what, quote, it could have been. I still, to this day...
Yeah, but the problem is she's now pondering it in a vacuum. I mean,
right.
if you were dealing with a scientific phenomenon, you would go back and try to duplicate the experience. You would maybe run the tape over and over again if you had a tape. But when you just think about stuff that's already kind of fuzzy to begin with, well, I mean, a problem is that your brain fills in the details.
Right. She said she doesn't know what it was, and to this day, she still has no idea. But then she tells more about the experience. And to her credit, I will say there are a lot of people who, when they start to tell more about the experience, they try to get sort of more... the claim becomes more ridiculous, where it becomes like, you know, it had to be this, and it gets more and more pressure to make it more real. But what happened is she actually, I think, kept it pretty honest.
Right.
And one of the things she said was, we got to the top of the stairs where his sister's bedroom door was open, and there was a piercing, and I don't know what she means by piercing. There was a piercing head and shoulders beaming from ear to ear at us, and I assumed that meant a smile and a piercing stare, but I don't, I can't, I'm reading that into it because I don't really know what that means. She says, I'm certainly not a superstitious person. I try to be rational. We had walked up the stairs in the darkness, as we always did. And here I recognize that she, you know, did agree. I don't know what it was. She viewed this thing from the stairwell through a doorway. She says she's not superstitious, but I'm going to say that because she's afraid of the dark to this day, I will call that denial.
Yeah.
And she saw this apparition in darkness.
I think if people are honest and you know, smart, they will, as they retell stories, they will anticipate what kind of objections other people are likely to bring up. I mean, that's like an actual requirement in a scientific paper.
Right.
You try to think of stuff that people will object to about your paper, and you try to write it down first so that they won't have a chance to jump to it and make you look silly.
Right, but to me, though, the fact that this is a person who has a superstitious mindset, that's why she does not anticipate the skeptical response before she says it.
Right.
When you say to somebody, I saw this in the dark, you already should have it in your head that the person is going to say, if you saw it and it was dark in the room, how can you be sure of what you saw? It was dark. People don't see well in the dark. I mean,